Going over to the Culture Broad podcast, you have Elon Musk on Kamala Harris's 60-minute interview, and the mostly flopping or crashing like a Boeing airplane, which at one point was a very reliable, admirable engineering company. Now this comes to us, of course, thanks to Elon over on X, and he says he is actually responding to Bill Melgen over there. Now Bill Melgen says, "quote 60 Minutes repeatedly asked Harris why the Biden-Harris administration waited 3 years to take executive action to curb illegal crossings. She says they introduced a bill upon taking office. That bill would have given an 8-year pathway to amnesty for millions of illegal immigrants, then pivots to saying that Trump killed their bipartisan border deal, which again, the administration did not attempt until after 3 years of record-setting chaos. Harris never actually answered the questions as to why they waited 3 years to attempt to stop the chaos at executive level votes. And a reminder that those record-setting numbers, they did not include the more than 1.9 million known gotaways that were recorded entering the U.S. without apprehension. Gotaways under Biden-Harris administration in 3 years were higher than the prior decade of Trump and Obama combined, and were times when the entire chunks of the border were left completely unmanned to focus resources on processing /match test and release programs. There were days in 2022 when 2,000 plus gotaways were being recorded by CBP every day, while at the same time the administration was falsely claiming the border was closed and secure. How Mayorkas or anyone in the government has their job still is beyond me. Well, it's the public sector, so no negative ramifications for actually, being terrible at your job. Granted, perhaps I can't think they were just doing, what they were told and what the plan was. And Elon responded to this saying, quote, the Biden-Harris administration openly bragged about opening the border and stopping wall construction, which, yep. I mean, she should be really good at, Kamala Harris, she'd make an exceptional dodgeball player, not just because she spent a vast amount of time crouching on her knees, but she's very articulate at dodging questions. You throw a question at her, she'll dodge that left and right, which, again, this is a top issue for American voters. And even culturally speaking, it's one of the top topics that people are talking about when they're friends around the water cooler. And yeah, you're bragging about leaving the border open, and you're getting the fruits of your labor, so to say. It estimated 11 million illegals in the past 43 months. It's literally insane. That's more than the population of most states these days. Interestingly enough, many of them are going to swing states. And yeah, I think the average American, a lot of people are starting to wake up to the fact of how woefully inept the border is. And again, the biggest BS of all time is that border bill. If you look at actually read the border bill, and maybe it's just a perverse kind of like a dark humor, not dark humor, but not a perverse incentive mechanism, but there's all those ironic things, there we go, in politics where whatever the bill is called, usually the opposite it actually does the opposite of what's intended. Like the Patriot Act being the most unpatriotic piece of trash ever, stripping us of nearly all of our rights. And you have the Border Patrol with the border bill. The largest dollar amount, like if you look at the breakdown of where the money was going to Ukraine. And in the U.S., they said, oh yeah, it's going to help the border. Or the U.S. is going to fund that. It was going to fund border processing, not actually securing the border or putting more agents on the border to defend the southern border. It's for processing, not actually securing the border. But they go, oh yeah, Republicans are bad. They didn't vote for that. They don't care about securing the border because your BS bill was named something it wasn't really. And don't get me wrong, Republicans do this as well when it comes to politics and naming bills that don't actually do what they're actually said to do. Now, this went pretty viral. Got 58.1 million views and 186,000 likes. And we do have a contrarian statement right off the bat. You have leftist Brian Krasenstein saying, quote, Trump forced Republicans to do nothing to hurt Biden. Getting 595 likes. Mostly meant to the vacuous, but got a lot of likes and record number of comments. He got 338 comments. Everyone else is getting, 3 to 10 to 20. So we'll focus in on Ed really quick. And again, he got 595 likes as well as 41.4 thousand views. Now, one of the first responses to Brian is from James Michael saying, you keep telling the same lie, getting 33 likes. RC Joy says, keep telling yourself that lie, Brian. The border bill you're talking about contained 80 billion out of 118 billion for foreign countries. That is not a good solution, getting 198 likes. It is fascinating how, when it looks at, protecting borders, how many trillions have we spent on other countries that most Americans cannot point to on a map? And I apologize. Click that subscribe button. It may help with my speaking aptitudes. I know I'm speaking a little bit too fast today. There are apparently some side effects of having, work 105 hours a week and drinking multiple pots of coffee a day, but I partially digress. Again, I appreciate your patience as we make the show better and better. Don't forget to tell your friends and, tell your enemies. Maybe they'll become your friends. Or they'll hate you even more because they don't like the show, in which case you're just adding more to the fuel to the fire, which inevitably could make your life more interesting, but partially digress. Going back to other top comments, responding to Brian, you have L.I. Patriot saying, quote, still going on about that bill that will only serve to legalize the border invasion. Pathetic. If Republicans had passed it, it would mean 2 million illegals a year with zero recourse to stop them and close the border, getting 36 likes. The right girl responded saying it is not a border bill. All it does is codify the same policies that would cause the crisis at the border. It allows for millions of illegals to enter our country annually, only now legally. FOH, getting 29 likes. Which, I'll have to check the Urban Dictionary later to see what FOH means. Let me know in the comments if you do know. Again, those are all responding to Brian. As you might say, he's getting ratioed. Someone has a gif of Biden, and his voice is actually pretty easy to imitate, so I'll do that. He does, cliche, come on, man. But in this case, he says, I did that. Yeah, got 13 likes from that. Going back to the main comic section, you have somebody named Thick Eggshell saying this woman flip-flops between every position. It's a cartoon caricature of Kamala Harris. It says, Kamala, chameleon. And on the iguana, or no, chameleon, it says, I'm Indian, I'm black, Biden's a racist. Oh, yeah. And he assaults women. Yeah, I love that. To talk about a lack of character, remember during the 2020 primary when Kamala and Biden were on stage debating, and she literally called Biden racist and sexist and evil. And then when he chose her to be the VP, she goes, "Oh, that was just a debate. That was just, like, how inauthentic is that?" That little caricature got 32 likes. You have Paul Zupa saying, quote, in the first 100 days, Biden Harris removed 94 Trump executive actions that secured our border. They invited the invasion, getting 557 likes. Heather Eagleman says, quote, they needed voters. They had no intentions of closing the border, getting 1.1 thousand likes. Cash Loren says Kamala and Biden literally sued states like Texas and Arizona to keep the border open. Fact checked, true, getting 46 likes. Which, I talk about how evil the federal government is. Telling Texas, how dare they tell Texas we can't defend our border? Especially when the federal government is not only doing anything, they're encouraging the problem. And when Texas tried to secure the border in Arizona, the government tried to sue the state. How that's not considered treason by the feds is beyond me. It's ridiculous. Going down more and more. One bad dude says the corruption never ends. Is a picture of Trump with a quote. It says, I told you they're corrupt as hell, believe me now. Getting 342 likes. Trump Army says it gets worse. Based on the current apprehension rate, Harris is going to let another million in the next 4 months. And geez Louise, you can see the number of illegal crossings. Actually, I'm looking at a specific graph. It says annual southwestern border apprehensions. Sorry. It looks like, yeah, it exponentially increased after 2020. Funny about that. Getting 211 likes. General TM says, on day one, Kamala and Biden worked on reversing Trump's border policies, and they then blamed Trump and Congress for not fixing the border problem, getting 252 likes. Yep. A lot of screenshots of articles noting that. Let's see. Not too many contrarian statements here. Oddbach calls says time to vote for Trump is Trump after his first assassination attempt, getting 70 likes. So, yeah, I think this is probably, again, it's one of those things where kind of politics leading a culture that it just talks about in the water cooler. I mean, the border is one of the number one things people are concerned about, anecdotally speaking. And let me know in the comments, do you think, this is becoming more of a common thing about cultural lexicon? We used to think, politics was more of a rare thing. I have many theories of why politics have grown in popularity in terms of subject matter between people, but let me know in the comments, do you think, will that ever actually solve the southern border problem? And don't forget those Canadians as well. We need a better wall up there. Don't get me started on that. But let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know I can make sure better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.